You're on the Bible Forum. I have a question for you tonight. Who's raising your children? Jordan Peterson, who is a renowned Canadian psychology professor, best-selling author, knows that there are some dangerous people teaching our children in schools. In a video for Prager University, Peterson describes exactly what's happening with teachers, administrators, and students in today's society and explains that some teachers and professors are bent on indoctrination. He says, quote, "You may not realize it, but you are currently funding some dangerous people. They are indoctrinating young minds throughout the West with their resentment-ridden ideology. They have made it their life's mission to undermine Western civilization itself, which they regard as corrupt, oppressive, and patriarchal." Peterson goes on to say that if you're a taxpayer or if you're paying for your child's liberal arts degree, you're underwriting a gang of nihilists. Nihilism comes from the Latin, meaning nothing. It's a philosophical viewpoint that suggests denial or lack of belief toward the reputedly meaningful aspects of life. Most commonly, nihilism is presented in the form of existential nihilism, which argues that life is without objective meaning, objective purpose, or intrinsic value, that life has no real foundations, no connections, no objective moral standards to tie it all together. Applied to morality, nihilists assert that there is no inherent morality and that accepted moral values are abstractly contrived. They vary depending on the culture and they're created out of necessity, perhaps. Nihilism may also take the epistemological view. Epistemology talks about the origin, the nature, the limits of what we can know, or what we do know. It may take the epistemological form, or it may take the ontological. Ontology deals with where did it come from, or the metaphysical form, realities beyond what we can see, meaning respectively that in some aspect knowledge is not possible, and that reality may very well not really exist. Now consider the implications. Consider the ramifications of sitting in classes for hours, years, having this defined, illustrated, applied to every aspect of life by people you inherently respect, people you are paying to talk to you and teach you what they know. You're supporting ideologies that claim all truth is subjective. The author of this piece suggests that all sex differences are socially constructed and that Western imperialism is the sole source of all third world problems as one of those things, one of those philosophies that people are being taught today. When you see people in the streets railing against Western philosophies and ideals, how old are they? What you're seeing is what these teachers are teaching. How do we fight back? Well, in any battle, you need first to identify the source. What's the problem? And then you identify the ideas that are being taught by these people who are the problem. And thirdly, you realize that those ideas have consequences. And that in this context, these ideas will do to America what they have done to other Western nations and what they have already done to our universities. It is primarily Marxist theory in drag. Diversity, equity, inclusion. Sounds great. Moral. Above it all, intellectual. So how do you protect yourself? I want to offer you some solutions. Stop coddling your children. Stop doing everything for them. Teach them how to do it. Right. Stop giving in to their every desire. Pay attention to what they're asking and what the ramifications are. You're the adult in the room. Stop protecting them from life. Let them get hurt in a protected way. Let them see that if they do that, they get this. The progressives come along and they say, when you have a sick child, it's like, oh my God, how could the world be constituted so that a child can unfairly suffer in this manner? I don't say that out loud, but that's what they're saying. The reality, human beings get sick. Many of them die. Why? That's life. To give a child the best preparation, as a parent who knows how life is to be lived and how important it is and how dangerous it can be, that parent stays home and cares for their own children. You can't do that. We can't live on one salary. That parent stays home so you can imprint the values that your children will need, instead of letting the daycare people imprint, and the teacher imprint, and the coaches imprint, and whoever else they run into that they seem to appreciate and respect. You stay home so you can teach them how to be strong. Peterson says, quote, you can't have them being vulnerable and cute and interesting and small and needing care, at the same time striving to develop and grow, without them also being prone to pain and destruction and vulnerability. Get used to it. And then what you do, he asks, you teach them to be strong. That's what you do. You don't get rid of the vulnerability. You teach them to be strong. You don't fix everything for them. You don't protect them from everything. In fact, you do a lot of the opposite. You expose them to as much of the world as you protectively can in a safe environment that you're providing them, so that they see it. In the end, you make them strong. It's their strength that is the best antidote to their vulnerability. Why? Because life is hard, and then you die. If you're not strong, if you're not prepared, you're going to get eaten up by the culture. They're going to swallow you whole. You're going to be a little cookie cutter image of them. And in our world, it's worse, because our world is suffering a contamination from I can never say this word, malevolent, bad things. The optimistic part, Peterson says, is that you are so strong, you could not only deal with that, you can improve upon it. We're stronger than things are terrible, he says. A lot of this stuff he's talking about is biblical truth. If all we had to guide our life and the training of our children was the Bible, and we stopped adding our own thoughts and ideas and revisions to that Bible, the world, our nation, our community, our homes would be better in every way. Now do you understand why the Bible is so hated? The God of this world does not sleep nor does he slumber. He is the enemy of your soul. You are in a battle. And you're a parent? You're in a battle for the very soul of your child. And yours. We don't get it.